Greetings, testing. 1, 2, let's go. We're now going live. Welcome to at Dorsey's Resource. This is the original channel. Welcome everyone to Dorsey's Resource. Before we get started, I'd like to give a disclaimer. This video is going to be for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Please understand everyone's individual circumstance or situation may be different. It's up to every individual competent person to please do his or her homework and research regarding the matter being discussed. The information contained is not to be construed as legal advice. In the event you feel you need to seek a competent professional, it is encouraged that you do so at one's own leisure. Any images shown, names mentioned are being used under the Fair Use Act, where critique reporting are accepted under federal law. According to, you can look up the Fair Use Act. Everyone is responsible for their own commercial affairs. All rights are reserved. Now, let's get into this. I wanted to discuss this topic. It's really, this just came out in the news. Jeffrey Epstein Contact list of names has been released by the courts, are now unsealed. This has made major headlines now. This is more recently, this is an updated report as a newsworthy story. You'll catch a lot of blogs, even mainstream media, not only bloggers on YouTube, in case you're unaware, but I feel I needed to report on this story. I've talked about these things in the past, and I wanted to give my weigh in, my critique. But the title of this video is Jeffrey Epstein Contact Names released by court are now unsealed. So just to give you all a heads up, in case you're not familiar with, the story, Jeffrey Epstein was the guy. I won't go into all the details. It's pretty obvious if you want to know about the original. He was a guy that was tied into with this very large, allegedly, which has now come out already, sex trafficking ring connected to prominent individuals in Hollywood, going around the world. Some of the names have been officially released. Some of the names we already knew. In case you're not aware, by the way, some of the names are already out there. But the difference was people were trying to when you get into accusing just because he took certain photographs or images with certain people, there are reports you can look up. I did look up from Snoop's, by the way, official reports that that some names mentioned did not get engaged in any allegedly sexual activities. So a couple of those names are mentioned by someone who was close to Epstein, who was, I guess, a masseuse, a massage therapist. They said this allegedly about Trump and Michael Jackson years ago. They said there was no interaction. There was also a lady who is a sex trafficking victim, in case you all have not been aware of. I've been aware of for a while. She did an interview on the Stu Peters show. Her adoptive name is Ali Carter, by the way, but her government name, she was born with, is Tory Outlaw. According to some research I did, and this is just alleged, just from the research, she appears to be, is believed to be allegedly, she alluded to this being of a famous rapper's daughter, allegedly being Tupac's daughter. She was, appears to be, was trafficked. She was adopted by an adopted mother, and she actually has a story that she mentions. She names high name famous people, by the way, when she did this interview on the Stu Peters show. You can find it on Rumble. Of course, some years ago, you probably won't be able to find it on YouTube. You can, I haven't looked her up, but remember YouTube some years ago, a lot of information that was connected to Pizzagate, they censored and basically blacklisted, but you're seeing like information resurfacing. So now the conspiracy theorists, or those that they accuse of being conspiracy theorists, are actually right. This was a major case. If you know anything about the Epstein case, his girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was in the photo that I have put in the thumbnail of the video along with Harvey Weinstein, are both locked up. Allegedly, Jeffrey Epstein was committed suicide, according to the official story. By the way, I'll just leave it at that. But I have my other opinions about that. But like I say, that's according to the official story. But his girlfriend, who was busted, and that was on the news publicly, and that was reported on by major mainstream media, by the way. and her name is listed that you can look up. This, don't take my word for it. If you don't believe these court documents are public information, this is now officially unsealed. And I hear allegedly that there are more contact names coming. You have to look up the court case, but I'll do my best. Some of the websites I pulled up, I'll post in the chat section for those of you all who are joining. I see we have RNC says, all right, elite exposed by Bill Clinton. Laugh out loud. MRNC says, heard Biden's have an island 5 above Epstein's. Wonder what happened there. Interesting. I haven't heard about that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case, because I have heard about his son Hunter Biden, who had been in the news, that he had a laptop as well that I hear has been covered up. I just got word today, just reporting on this information. It's breaking news. It was on band.video. This was reported on by AMP, a media organization, independent media he's partnered with, reported on by Jason Burmis. This is a breaking exclusive report that the Biden Justice / FBI department has been hiding hard drives, tapes shot by Jeffrey Epstein and intel agencies chronicling their abuse of children. So it shows I'm not surprised the Biden administration has been complicit in this major cover up. As I've said, you know, some people argue between the Democrats and Republicans are two heads of the same snake, but at least I heard under the Trump administration, he created a task force that I heard still actually continued into the Biden administration that was actually rescuing child trafficking victims. I saw busts happen in the state of Georgia, Ohio, Indiana, and different states. This was actually reported on, and it was Operation, I don't remember the exact name, during the Trump administration. Why would he, if he was involved in these things, why would he incriminate himself? And he was one of the few that pushed for this when it was major Democrats real high up that covered up major investigations, like the Anthony Weiner laptop. As you know, former Attorney General Loretta Lynch under the Obama administration, it's alleged that NYPD police officers that wanted to go public with their story or what they had witnessed, and NYPD detectives and what they had witnessed on Anthony Weiner's laptop, were threatened that they were going to be hit with a charge from the Eric Gardner situation, effectively being blackmailed by Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General. And after that report went really viral, I guess Bill Clinton got word of it. And if you remember at the time, because I have an excellent memory, that Bill Clinton summons her on a plane, a tarmac, and she actually admitted this. Loretta Lynch publicly admitted that she was not, as a sitting attorney general, was a conflict of interest according to some law. She admitted she was not supposed to meet with him. That she did admit, amazingly, because a lot of times, you know, these people are real high up, especially in those powerful positions, don't admit things. She was not supposed to meet with him at the time, and she admitted she broke some type of law. I don't know the law offhand what it was, but she did admit she did meet with Bill Clinton. So I knew that this was a cover up, and his name was actually brought up recently as one of the people, along with Prince Andrew, that was listed with these names that are now been unsealed by a court. So this is real high up. These names that have been officially unsealed, you can look up the docs online, but I encourage you, if you don't take my word, there's many other vloggers on YouTube. I encourage you to look up, as well as Rumble, go on other platforms, get a second and third opinion so you can gain a better perspective. So I wanted to show proof that all this time, the conspiracy theorists, or so-called conspiracy theorists, we were told that, you know, to shut up, that the information we reported on wasn't true, that Pizzagate wasn't real. But here it is. You have a major case that has come out with not only Jeffrey Epstein and heavily connected his girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, who is currently serving time, as well as Harvey Weinstein and others. And this, I've given you some context of where this points back to, by the way. I'll read another comment from MRNC. Says, apparently the island is in Joe's brother's name. Okay, very interesting. I have not heard of that. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, nothing surprised me with the Bidens. Now, it took forever for the stuff for Hunter Biden to come out, and it shows that the FBI and the Justice Department has been complicit in a massive cover-up and have been very biased. And the media, by the way, which has been weaponized to a degree, in the past was not really reporting on the information because, like I said, in the past, it implicated a lot of Democrats, and there's been a major power struggle between both parties. But we know that there are members like Rhino's establishment people that are connected to Democrats themselves that just call themselves Republican, but were working with Democrats to sabotage certain individuals. And we know Mitch McConnell is one of them. So my friend who's actually conservative. I have not been a registered voter since 2004. By the way, I canceled my voter registration in case you're wondering. So I am technically politically neutral. I can be nonpartisan technically because I'm not a registered voter, but I'm just reporting on this information. But a very good friend of mine mentioned he calls Mitch McConnell Cocaine Mitch. He knows some things about his wife and the things of the past. So no, it may sound uncomfortable, but not saying that he was named, but you have to look up this. There's a court document that is public information. I'm just reporting that the Jeffrey Epstein contact names have been released by the court are now unsealed, by the way. And here's allegedly, if you look up on Reddit, I'm going to post this in the comment chat section. By the way, if you click on the link, and remember to, when you look this information up, in case you don't see this video right away, you see it after the fact. By the way, I know a lot of people, they'll come back later or watch the video after it uploads. You want to make sure you save this information too, and document it. For example, for down the road in case they try to remove it. But this is something that is being currently reported on by the mainstream media. You can go on if you currently go on your search engine, whatever search engine you use, if it's Bing, Yahoo, MSN, or Google, it'll come up as recently. There's reports as of 3 hours ago, and 11 hours ago, that the Jeffrey Epstein contact names have been released by the court. And there's documents. This has been reported on by CBS News. It's been reported on by CNN. Jeffrey Epstein documents unsealed, naming Prince Andrew and other people. It's been reported on as well as by CNBC, New York, Bill Clinton, and others. And these unsealed documents, The Independent. So if you do a search, don't take my word for what I'm saying. Go online and look up the information, and I post it. If you click on this link, if you're currently watching, copy and paste it if you can. This is something that's previously been listed. If you want to know the flight log that was listed, I had trouble finding the PDF file. I had some other versions, but I found one that is public online, and I'll post a link. This is separately from the court case. This was the flight log, and it listed some famous people. I saw another version that was in a PDF file that someone put together that had famous people such as the comedian Chris Tucker, the actor Kevin Spacey, who had been dealing with some type of lawsuit, by the way. And this has been happening recently. There's been a lot of lawsuits going on occurring. According to, I heard that the New York Survivors Act that was passed expired as of this past November. It may be something that's reoccurring every year where it has to be filed by a certain deadline, but I know that's what I heard. And then I heard that there was one that was set to expire in California as well. So there's been, this shows this interconnected type of web is it's it's been floating around, and it has been reported on, but like I say, it's been a massive cover up. So I wanted to give my weigh in on this. This is why I'm reporting on this information. Duff says, where is the list? Question mark. You know what? And that's actually one of the sites I found. I didn't bookmark it. It had it in a zip folder. You can find, just if you just do a search, if you're still listening, Duff, let me know in the chat section. If you do a search, I use Microsoft Bing search engine. Type in court documents. You may have to Epstein documents, and there was a particular website. By the way, I'll see. Matter of fact, in real time, if I can find it. By the way, here's another independent media I'll post. Before I do that, I'll post in the chat. I don't know if this site has the list yet. but I'll post this. This is another independent media site. He says, okay, thanks, brother. I'll try that. So in the meantime, what I'll do, I'll try to, as I'm reporting on this, I'll look it up as I'm still online now. I'm going to pull this other page up and see what I can come up with. I was telling myself I should have bookmarked it earlier, but I did find, let me see, Epstein court documents, contact names released by court. There was a website that reported on it. Let me see if I can find it again. And it wasn't in a PDF file. Let me see if I can put PDF file, but they I guess they compressed the file and put it in a JPEG. At the time, I had to uninstall because it said my WinZip was expired, but I didn't understand I had WinRAR. So I tried unpacking it. I didn't know if it was a different version, but I found earlier a separate case that someone reported on that they mentioned they found. I actually typed in the case number and I was able to pull that up. So let's see if this pulls anything up in particular. By the way, so I see a site right here. It says litigation, Jeffrey Epstein litigation file release includes Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, among names publicly. Okay, I'll scroll down. Let me see if this particular site doesn't appear to list. Seems like they hide that PDF unless you type in the exact verbiage for the court document number. It'll be hard to pull it up because this is something that I heard allegedly they were fighting to the powers that be were certain individuals were fighting to cover up the particular PDF file. Okay, so here's something in particular. I don't know if this is it. I'll pull this up in the meantime as you guys are on standby. I'm just doing some research. I just pulled a PDF up. Okay, this is not giving me anything so far. I'm wondering. Okay, I scroll down. Oh, these are articles. Okay. Okay, this is something else I'll put in the chat section. By the way, so in case you're watching, this particular site the link that you're looking at now is from an independent media. I want to encourage you to go to band.video as well. But this other site lists something interesting I don't have. I'm going to see if I can download this particular PDF file. I have a particular folder for this specifically. I should have bookmarked this earlier, but I just wanted to give my way in. I have some more commentary, by the way, guys, so just bear with me, by the way. Okay, yep. So I just found an additional doc. I haven't saw this document before. The other one I may have to put on hold, but this is something that has been reported on very recently. I did hear in advance that this information was getting ready to come out. There's a breaking report. I'll post this as well from band.video, by the way. And they do very excellent reporting. I would say if you're interested, they go more in depth than I do. This link I just posted is from band.video. And the topic of this link says the Biden Justice Department has been hiding hard drives, tape shot by Jeffrey Epstein and intel agencies chronicling their abuse of children. Now, just to let you all know, the mainstream outlets, the link I just posted, they're not going to go as in depth as the independent media. That's why I told you guys, go to madmaxworld.tv, bookmark that, madmaxworld.tv, band.video. They do excellent reporting. He's partnered with multiple other independent media organizations. They do excellent journalism, real journalism, which you don't hardly see anymore. I remember there used to be a time CNN, other platforms, used to do good journalism, sort of like if you have watched local news investigators, investigative stories, by the way, where they do good reports, good journalism. If you want a more in-depth analysis, a better assessment, please go to band.video and madmaxworld.tv. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. Despite where they tried to accuse this gentleman and many others, but this is proving the conspiracy theorists to be right. The fact that this has hit the mainstream media and the deep state cabal, evil criminal cabal, has been attempting, even very recently, as this is a very recent story, has been attempting to cover this up. A federal judge, by the way, decided, from what I understand, to have these documents released. A federal judge that originally it was sealed, but the federal judge unsealed these documents that I heard updated reason, there was no legitimate reason to not release the names publicly, because, and it's also alleged that some of big name people that you may not hear about, that don't have pictures with Epstein, that were connected to Harvey Weinstein, are part of this as well, such as Oprah Winfrey, Hillary Clinton, Richard Branson, and others could have, because they have deep amount of pockets, a war chest of funds, that they could have paid extra money. I heard as well as Puff Daddy had ties to Epstein. Tisa Tell's YouTube channel reported on that. Has deep pockets to even pay extra additional money to have their names redacted, or through a legal fight, because they can hire an army or team of lawyers. But this particular judge decided that this needed to be public information. So Jeffrey Epstein contact names lists have been released by the courts. But just because you don't hear about some of the other big name people out there, this connects a lot of major people in Hollywood. I posted the Reddit link. If you're currently watching, by the way, you want to copy and paste the links I posted in the chat section. If you catch this video in real time, if you get a chance, always, if you rewatch the video, you can manually, it'll just take you more time, type the links in, and it'll pull up the exact videos or websites, by the way. If you want the evidence, by the way, I'm just reporting on this, sharing the information. I did give a disclaimer, but I felt this was important because there's people out there that try to say, oh, the conspiracy theorists, they don't never have any evidence. They're fake news, this, that, and other. No, this has been reported on as well by the mainstream media. So no, this is not fake news. The independent media actually goes more in depth. And I encourage you, once again, make sure you subscribe and follow band.video and also madmaxworld.tv. There may be other URL links to make sure you get the information, in case Google or other sites or computers sometimes are trying to block these sites in some instances, or they come under cyber attacks, because the evil cabal members, Kabbalists, elitists don't want you to get this information. By the way, they want you to stay dumbed down and brainwashed by what they consider the official media. But let me tell you, the mainstream media for a while has been forced to report on this, and this is not the first instance of this particular like with these types of allegations. Remember, you had Harvey Weinstein, who was a key figure in Hollywood. Remember, you had the guy, I always forget this guy, Larry Nassar. Remember, that was involved in that scandal with the gymnasts, the girls from USA Gymnastics, who was molesting them. He was at ties to Michigan State. Remember Larry Nassar? That was another big major story. Remember Jerry Sandusky, that incident at Penn State University. Remember the famous football had one of the most winningest records, was publicly shamed even after he passed, Joe Paterno, for covering up. It showed when an investigation was done that he was complicit in that, dealing with Jerry Sandusky at Penn State. That was reported on by the mainstream media some years ago. So this is not my opinion. This had already been reported on. I'm just sharing with you guys many other major instances. Similar instances have occurred. You also have the Nexium sex cult, by the way, where you had a guy named Keith Rainier, who was the founder of the Nexium sex cult. That's what Richard Branson was connected to. the actor Allison Mack, as well as other people. By the way, that was a separate incident, and they discovered many of these things. If you guys know, when I reported on the story about Anthony Weiner's laptop, if you don't know, Anthony Weiner's wife, Huma Abedin, worked for Hillary Clinton. She worked Hillary Clinton's campaign, and there was investigative journalists who also reported on this information previously. So if you follow the independent media like myself, that's how I found this information. But the mainstream media tried their damnedest or tried their hardest to cover up. That's why I told the story about Obama's former Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, where the NYPD police officers and detectives were going to release a press conference exposing this, by the way, and they were threatened by Obama's Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, at the time, that she was going to prosecute one of them or charge them with the Eric Gardner situation. And I hear allegedly 9 out of 13 of those detectives or police officers are no longer with us. By the way, you guys think that's a coincidence? You see how this is more important, or this story was more powerful than just the stuff that's coming out with P. Diddy, or with the freak offs or the sex parties. That information that's being reported on by Tough News YouTube channel, Tisa Tales and Murad in England. Big shout out to them, who are doing a very excellent job. I follow their channels. I'm subscribed to, as I've been keeping up with a lot of the information that's been coming out, and information about TD Jakes, by the way, even more information. Storm Monroe. Big shout out to Ringo TV, as well, has been exposing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of channels out there. So this, I'm just giving you guys some context behind this. Is not just make believe. Of course, the mainstream media, Snoops and stuff was created to try to easily label people conspiracy theorists or right wing when they don't like truth coming out, or real factual information, or information that they want to keep secret, by the way. And that's why I'm reporting on this, to counter and show you guys where you can find the correct information, find the real information. And I did give a disclaimer, but let you all make your own assessment, about these. But this is something these has been reported on already. The title of this video was Jeffrey Epstein Contact Name List has been released by the courts and are now unsealed. And I hear that there's more documents that may be coming in the next coming days. This was reported on yesterday, and this was reported on recently. If you type in his name in a search engine, you will even see current reports from the mainstream media as well as YouTube. So look up the articles. But this was part of a big thing. And also remember when it was FBI agents, when Hillary Clinton was running against Donald Trump in 2016. Remember the week before the election that James Comey did a press conference, and then he did another one because major pressure was being put on. Remember, it was FBI agents that were very upset because he decided not to go along with the evidence that the NYPD detectives had from what I went over. By the way, that's why to give you context, why James Comey did that press conference right before Hillary lost to Donald Trump when he first ran for president in 2016, by the way. And it shows you who's on the side of the deep state. Mostly Democrats, predominantly Democrats, have been complicit in the cover-up. Okay? And we know that the World Economic Forum, the Davos group, or the World Economic Forum, heavily uses the Democratic Party to push their agendas. Even though we know that they have ties with Republicans as well, people that they paid off behind the scenes, they're heavily embedded within the Democratic Party. And this needs to be very concerning for people who do get involved in politics. I myself personally have not been a registered voter anymore, but I still do pay attention, and the public deserves to know the truth. They deserve to know the real information, by the way. But there's been a massive cover-up, and there was a story on Band.video about how the globalist ruling class elite had been fighting to keep the Epstein list sealed as Americans awaken to other things going on, as well as the border crisis. The Biden Justice Department /FBI has been hiding hard drives and tapes connected to the Epstein thing. Band.video even has a video of Peter Nygaard, who confessed he had his own private island. And who do you know? Oprah Winfrey actually interviewed him, by the way. and he confessed that he had an organ farm dealing with babies. He would pay black women or African American women even to have babies and do other things. This is what the elites are into, drinking adrenochrome. David Icke talked about this when I read his book years ago, Children of the Matrix, by the way. When he talked about MK Ultra, this ties in with that ritual sex abuse. He interviewed Kathy O'Brien, who was from Muskegon, Michigan, who was a sex trafficking victim, as well as Bryce Taylor years ago, who was trafficked during the Bush-Reagan administration after she got into a car accident. Her and her daughter were kidnapped and brought into child sex trafficking ring under MK Ultra. Her name was Bryce Taylor, but her original government name may have been Bryce Ford. I think her name was changed. There was a guy named Mark. I don't remember his last name. He may have been an FBI agent, a good Samaritan who protected her, just similar to Ted Gunderson years ago, former FBI agent who worked to protect some of these victims, because just like in today's society, back then there was a massive cover up with exposure of this type of information. You also had former Senator Nancy Schaefer in the state of Georgia years ago, who had already been a guest on Alex Jones's show many years ago. When she was due to come back on the show the following Wednesday, a week later after she had appeared, her and her husband were shot dead in their home, and they ruled it a suicide. I forgot to mention that. Mighty convenient. They ruled it a suicide, but she was reporting that Child Protective Services in the state of Georgia was procuring children to high net worth individuals or certain individuals, and she ended up deleted, as well as the DC Madam was another woman years ago who I guess was a woman who was a high prostitute that was had the name DC Madam, where she was basically involved with politicians, by the way, and she was a whistleblower years ago, and she was murdered. Believe I think they ruled it allegedly a suicide. So you see, when people tried to report on this information, or many times when they report on this information, they, it's believed to be, in my opinion, they were killed, they were murdered, sadly, just like the reporter years ago that worked for the San Jose Mercury News. You can look up the names of these people. Gary Webb, by the way, who was exposing how the government was bringing drugs into the black community, black neighborhoods. And that's where you had the famous original drug lord, Freeway Rick Ross, that several rappers named themselves after. The real Freeway Rick Ross, who sued the rapper who goes by the name Ricky Rose, Robert Williams, that sued Robert Williams. But the original Freeway Rick Ross, who wrote a book, and he had actually been a guest on Alex Jones's show and told the story about Gary Webb, and it's believed to be Gary Webb was murdered. They made a movie that actually hit mainstream theaters, only at select theaters. It came out around 2014. It was called Kill the Messenger. It was based off of Gary Webb, the actor that played in The Wire. I forgot the actor that died. Forgot his name. He also starred in the movie. It was called Kill the Messenger. It was based on Gary Webb. He was a reporter for the San Jose Mercury News, and he was exposing what was going on with the CIA and the U.S. government's involvement with years ago with the drug trafficking that was going on, and how it was being laundered into black neighborhoods and things of that sort. So I don't want to paint this picture that all government people are corrupt either. The reason I'm not anti-government, I'm anti-corruption. The problem is that corruption needs to be cleaned up, and there needs to be proper checks and balances. You need people to be accountable, and that's the purpose why you have an executive branch, you have a legislative branch, you have a judicial branch, and if they do their job appropriately, you will have a lot better. It may not be perfect, because I hear what the communists or the anti-fascist so-called claim that communism will work better. Communism has always failed. Socialism, communism, and fascism is actually coming from the left. If you look at their policies, if you look at what Colorado is doing, what the state of Maine is doing to Trump, for example, that's forms of fascism. That's the forms of what communist countries do. That's fascism right there. So I challenge the anti-fascist so-called counter-protesters, or protesters that are members of Antifa that get funded by George Soros, or RevCom, Communist Revolution of America. You cannot debunk that. That's what fascism is. right there. What Colorado was doing, and it's clearly wrong with and with these accusations and things by keeping a presidential candidate off the ballot, and it's unconstitutional and it's American right when you understand the law and you overstand the law and what is happening, for example. But they're the actual fascists, by the way. So enough said on that tip, but go to band.video and you can look at the reports. There's a lot of information very recently. They do very excellent reporting. I love the American Journal. Information has good reports. The War Room with Owen Schroyer. You also have Greg Reese. He's a great journalist that does his own separate reports. So you get different perspectives, by the way. I like the Brown report, by the way, the reports John Brown has done over there. Paul Joseph Watson. You get good reports. David Icke also has a channel over there as well. And he mentions, I've read a lot of his books. I own several of David Icke's books. And he's discussed this information and certain names that I mentioned I'm already familiar with, by the way, with some of these reports and these stories, because I've been following them for years. So just wanted to get my way in, but I want to thank you guys for joining. Don't forget to like this video, thumbs this video up. It helps the algorithm. Share this video. This channel had been demonetized, by the way. So make sure you also go over and subscribe to my new channel, my newer channel, at Dorsey's Resource 873, where I don't talk about these things as much. By the way, that channel is a little bit differently than this channel. This channel is going to be where I go a lot more in depth. And you may down the road be able to check out my reports on Rumble. I have 4 videos so far on Rumble. I know it's been a while. I have to upload, get some more of my videos over there. But just be on standby for down the road. I have a Rumble account, by the way, as a backup. So I have someone else in the chat says, Mrs. Woodtown, Texas says, thank you for sharing. Thank you for joining, by the way. So I'm going to get ready to wrap things up. I've said a mouthful. And make sure that you guys click on the link when you watch the replay. You can copy and paste the links. Look these links up in the search engine. By the way, like I said, I go back to band.video. There's a lot of reports. I posted the link for the vault for one of the PDF files to view. You may be able to download. This is a report from pressfortruth.com. And then this is another link, archive to the flight logs, by the way. I posted this a while ago. And then here's another link from Reddit that allegedly, if you look up on Reddit, that lists the names. You can type this in the search engine, by the way. But you guys can always pause. You can go back after you watch the replay of this video. So once again, thank you all for joining. Don't forget to thumbs this video up. You're welcome to share this video. And don't forget to subscribe to my backup channel at Dorsey's Resource 873. We only got about just less than 200 subscribers over there. So let's get that channel up, guys. I have well over 8,000 subscribers over there for the late stragglers, I know. So check me out over at Dorsey's Resource 873. I have some good videos over there for you guys. Until next time, I want to thank you all for joining. The marathon will continue. Real legends never die. They live in our hearts. You guys have a blessed and wonderful day. Take care. Peace.